All right, so we are going to work on Pythagorean theorem again, just like you have been rocking it. But we are going to now do word problems, right? I always say it kind of is going to get a little bit harder or a little bit easier as we go, right? It's math. It's kind of what happens. So there we go. We are going to start with the foot of a ladder is placed 6 feet from the wall. So this is my wall. Okay? And the ladder is placed 6 feet away from that wall. And the top of the ladder rests 8 feet up on the wall. Okay, so this is a ladder. And if the ladder, and then it says how long is the ladder? So we are trying to find the ladder, which means the wall is 8 feet tall, or it could be tall. But do we know the legs, or do we know a leg and a hypotenuse? We know a leg and a hypotenuse. So we are going to, we know 2 legs. So we are going to have 6 squared plus 8 squared, and that's going to be our c squared or our x squared. It doesn't really matter which one. 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. And that's going to equal c squared. From there, we are going to add these two together and get 100. To get c to be by itself, we are going to take the square root. So it is 10 feet long. That's how long the ladder is. Okay? Make sure you draw the picture. If you're confused about drawing the picture, that's really important that we kind of figure that out now. Okay, 2 sides of a right triangle. So I have my right triangle. One side is 8. One side is 12. Find the missing side if these are the length of the legs. So these are the lengths of the legs. All right? If it said a leg and the hypotenuse, then it would look very different, right? So we, again, are trying to find this. So we have 8 squared plus 12 squared is going to be our hypotenuse squared. 8 squared is 64. 12 squared is 144. And that equals c squared. What is 64 plus 144? 208. To get c alone, we are going to take the square root. And it is about what? About 14.4 inches long. All right? Again, it's not anything, the concept isn't different, it's just an added step of we need to draw a picture. We need to know what the heck is being asked of us. All right? So, Oscar's doghouse is shaped like a tent. So if you don't know what a tent is shaped like, it looks like that. Okay? The slanted sides are both 5 feet long. And the bottom of the house is 6 feet across. What is the height in feet of the tallest point? So, we are going to draw a line down the middle. If you've ever seen a tent, right, you have to have somewhere to go into the tent. So that would be from the base, which is 6, to the tallest point, which is the top point of the triangle. So when you do that, you are splitting this into 2 equal parts. So if you're breaking 6 into 2 equal parts, what are both of these parts going to equal? 3. Okay? So if you break this apart, right, you basically have 2 right triangles. Do you know two legs, or do you know a leg and a side? Or I mean a leg and the hypotenuse. You know, leg and the hypotenuse. So we are going to have 3 squared plus our leg squared equals our hypotenuse squared. 3 squared is 9 plus x squared equals 25. To get x squared alone, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. X squared equals 16. To get x by itself, I'm going to take the square root, and my side length is, my height is 4 feet long. All right. A soccer field is a rectangle measuring 90 meters wide and 120 meters long. The coach asks a player, so somebody did something silly, and they have to run from one diagonal to the other. So from one corner to the other. Then it says, how far did the players run? So it is a rectangle. So what is this side length measure? 120. What does this side length measure? 90. So just like in the other one, right, when we split it apart, we ended up with 2 triangles. We actually have 2 triangles here, right? There is a triangle, and a right one at that, right here. Okay? So, do we know a length and a height and the hypotenuse, or do we know 2 legs? We know 2 legs. So we are going to have 90 squared plus 120 squared equals my hypotenuse squared. So what is 90 squared? 8,100. What is 120 squared? Ooh, that's long. That's a big number, isn't it? 14400, and then that's going to equal c squared. Plus, add these 2 numbers together, and you end up with 22,500. And to take the square root of both of those, you end up with 150 meters long. So if you ran from one corner of a soccer field to another, you would be running 150 meters. Don't ask me what that is. I'm not good at those. All right, just a couple more we're going to do together. Again, hopefully you're feeling better about this. I know you're fine with the math down here. It just may be the picture that you're struggling with. All right, so a diagonal of a rectangle is 25 inches. Alrighty, so we have a rectangle, and the diagonal, right, just kind of like the other one, this part is 25. The width is 15. What is the area of the triangle? So this one's going to be twofold, right? So if this is 15, this is also 15. We don't know what this is. We don't know what this is. But we do have what? A right triangle. So there's that. So I have a leg, 2 legs, or a leg and a hypotenuse. Do I have 2 legs or a leg and a hypotenuse? I have a leg and a hypotenuse. So I have 15 squared, x squared, 25 squared. So I have 225 plus x squared equals 625. Minus 225 on both sides. That's a nice and easy one, isn't it? Comes out evenly. And this equals 400. To get x by itself, I take the square root. And that gives me 20 inches. Oh, sorry.